世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Thelma.
And I'm Floyd. Each month we provide practical knowledge for daily living and important information about disaster prevention.
This program is for English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area and is broadcast on the second and fourth Saturdays of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
This month we'll look back at some events of 2023.
Our disaster prevention topic is preparing for winter disasters.
And our guest is Dr. Daniel Ko, originally from Singapore and now living in Nishinomiya.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。Wow, I can't believe it's December already, Freud.
Yeah, me too. Another year older and another year pretending to be wiser.
I wonder if 2023 was a good year for all of our listeners.
I hope so. It was better for me, thanks to the lifting of most COVID-19 restrictions.
Yes, and that was big news, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
On May 8th, COVID-19 was downgraded from Category 2 infectious disease to a Category 5, similar to seasonal influenza.
Yeah, finally, after 3 very long years, the end of coronavirus was in sight. Thelma, was there anything you did again that you weren't able to do since 2020?
Yes, watching movie with my husband free without wearing mask. Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess I went to some movies again too, which was kind of nice. But the biggest thing I did was to sing with the 10,000-member choir in Beethoven's Ninth Symphony at Osaka-jo Hall.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was. I've been joining the choir every year since 2010, but because of COVID, the event hasn't been held since 2019, and I really missed it.
Wow. I'm happy we're no longer forced to wear masks all the time. But even so, I'm still very cautious and wear my mask in crowded places like supermarkets and on trains.
Yeah, me too. But like you, I like that it's now our personal choice and not something dictated by the government.
Yeah, and I've heard stories about children going through 3 years of middle school and not even knowing what their classmates look like.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, and when they receive their graduation albums, they were surprised to see photos of their school friends actually look like and without their mask.
Oh, brother. Now, also, with the lifting of COVID-19 restrictions, more people are traveling to other countries, and the number of tourists visiting Japan is back to pre-COVID levels.
And I've heard Kyoto residents are complaining and they can't even board city buses now because there are so many tourists.
Kyoto residents complaining?
Yeah.
Yeah, things must really be getting back to normal.
Well, there were so many other big events in 2023. Maybe we should go over some of those as well, right?
Okay, yeah, let's start with sports. In November, the Hanshin Tigers capped an amazing season by winning the Nippon Series, and that was for the first time in 38 years.
Yeah.
The big sales at Hanshin department stores even made non-baseball fans very happy.
Yeah. And don't forget, Samurai Japan won the World Baseball Classic back in March by defeating the U.S. 3-2 in the championship game.
Yeah.
And Shohei Ohtani was voted as MVP in that series.
Yeah, and later in the year, by unanimous vote, he was also awarded the American League MVP back in the States.
Wow, and what an athlete. Young man and so handsome too.
Now relax, Thelma.
Also this year, Hollywood writers and actors went on strike with AI being a big issue in the negotiations. And for some reason, Elon Musk changed the name of Twitter to X.
Yeah, it was a little strange. Now, you mentioned AI, and I think one of the biggest stories of 2023 has got to be generative AI tools and chatbots like ChatGPT, Bard, Bing, Copilot, and others. These systems are already being used to revolutionize the way people work, create, and interact.
But there's a growing fear these systems will not only help make us more productive, but eventually take our jobs. Have you ever used any of these AI tools, Floyd?
Yeah, I have, but not as seriously as some of my friends. In fact, I've had ChatGPT help me clean up a few of our radio scripts this year.
So that's why our writing seems to have improved so much recently. You better hope you don't lose your job.
Yeah, thanks, Thelma. Now that things are getting back to normal, let's talk about the increase in the number of foreigners living in Nishinomiya.
According to statistics from June of this year, our foreign population reached a historic high of around 8,200. That means we foreigners now make up around 1.7% of Nishinomiya's total population of 480,000.
More foreign exchange students are arriving, and the number of technical interns, trainees, is also increasing.
So the number of foreign residents in Nishinomiya will continue to rise.
I think this really highlights the importance of an organization like NIA, which has various city-funded programs designed to assist foreigners residing in Nishinomiya.
So true. So thank you, NIA.
7.7 Sakura FM.
So we'd like to welcome back Dr. Daniel Ko from Singapore, and this is the second half of our interview.
Thank you.
Picking up from last month. Now, we went over a little bit of stuff, last month about the AI and where you saw it was going, and got a little bit technical. Maybe today we'll kind of back up a little bit and, keep it kind of light.
Yes.
So, let's say you've been in Japan now for a year and a half.
Yes.
Is what you saw, and you're planning to be in Japan for how long now?
Well, I want to be in Japan as long as I want, as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I have friends who live here for decades. Singaporean friends living here for decades, and they prefer living in Japan also.
Yeah. Would you have family, or like wife and a child, I believe, here also?
Yes. I have I have my wife and a child, and we live in Nishinomiya. And my child is 2.5 years old, and she's attending nursery in Nishinomiya at this moment.
So is she pretty fluent in Japanese?
Yes, she is.
Maybe she can help you then.
Yeah, in fact, she's teaching me every day.
Right.
And every time when sometimes I just couldn't understand what she said because she learned it from the nursery, and then I'll try to guess what is the meaning by her action and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it does help in that way that I'm picking up Japanese, day by day in that way.
Now, you met your wife in Japan, or where did you meet?
I met my wife in Singapore,
okay.
And back then she was, or rather she is working for a Japanese company. She got redeployed to Singapore back then, and that's where, when she was in Singapore, I met her in Singapore, and we start chatting with each other. She's trying to chat with me in English, and I'm trying to do it in Japanese. It's always a challenge, trying to communicate in Japanese for me.
Sound like you worked it out.
Yeah.
But now, would she want to go to live in Singapore, or she rather live in Japan?
She rather live in Japan, and I guess she is quite comfortable here.
Yes.
And but she also wants to go back to Singapore, to live for some time, I guess. But at this moment, she feels that she wants to live in Japan at this moment.
Well, it sounds like you'll have the option to live either location.
Yes.
Now, what do you do when you're not working?
Well, I do cooking. I do a lot of cooking and baking.
Nice.
And but people tend to have the impression that I cook dinner every day, but I don't cook dinner every day. So probably twice a week or 3 times a week I will cook dinner.
What kind of things do you bake?
Japanese dish or Singaporean dish?
Well, Singaporean dishes. But I went for culinary classes in Singapore back then, and I have a very keen interest in culinary. And in Singapore, they teach different kinds of cuisines, like Thai, even Japanese also. But many of the classes were Singaporean dishes, naturally. So, and that's where I learned. And then when I got here, I started to practice a lot.
Well, are there no Singaporean restaurants, or restaurants that serve the kind of food you would have liked at home?
There is. I mean, there are a few in Osaka. But I guess certain tastes that I find I'm comfortable with, I will have to do it by myself because, for myself, I like stronger taste.
Sounds delicious.
Yes.
Or do you ever invite guests over for dinner?
Yeah.
Um,
We're free tonight.
Yeah.
Free tonight. I need to ask my wife whether she's free.
I was curious, you mentioned baking also. What do you bake?
Well, I bake not cakes, but okay, maybe like lemon cakes, but not really, not the birthday cakes, but more like a sponge cake kind of
That
food.
would be very different. Lemon cake from Singapore and lemon cake Japanese style. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he could always maybe bake something, bring it in for us.
Oh,
Now, I was just reading here that you enjoy cycling and discovering the city. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, when I was young in Singapore, I enjoyed, I do a lot of cycling back then as a hobby. So of course now it's very enjoyable, and sometimes I do use the power assist kind of a bicycle.
So you're riding around the neighborhood here.
Yeah,
Nishinomiya,
right down
okay.
the neighborhood in Nishinomiya or Imazu near or Kitaguchi, the area. So, well, so there's the part where I want to discover the neighborhood.
I think it's a great way.
Yeah, and there's the other part where I didn't really want to walk 3 hours just to explore, so I want to cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some great rides up and all the way up and down the Mukogawa, along the harbor front. All the funny little islands. It's a great place for discovering and exploring.
Yeah.
Now,
That's nice.
a couple of months ago, we were talking about cycling in Nishinomiya, and we were saying how you have to have insurance and you have to wear a helmet. Do you have insurance for your bicycle?
Well, I believe I do.
Okay, we should report this guy. I don't think he has insurance. Anyway, I'm just giving you a hard time.
and we would like our listeners to know that they should have insurance. Exactly.
Yeah. I have insurance. It's easy to get. You go through 7-Eleven, you can get it. I have to admit, I have a helmet, but I never wear it. I should. So.
I do have. I showed it.
Anyway, now just really, really quick. We only have a few seconds left. There was a big election came up in Singapore a few months ago. I think in September, and you had to go all the way to Tokyo to vote. Was that correct?
Yes, we can vote at the embassy or by posting.
Okay.
But I did want to, go to the embassy to do my voting.
Okay.
And also to meet up with some friends.
So, and that was that a big event for Singapore? This latest election?
It's a very big event because for the past 12 years we didn't have a voting for a president. Because it was a walkover and also it was just no contest.
Okay, so there's a new president now, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, it's
okay.
a new president.
Well, anyway, we're out of time, but I want to thank you for joining us and want to wish good luck to you and
Thank
your
you.
company. Now, if
Thank
anybody
you
wants
very
to
much.
get in touch with your company, I think it's Cohen Associates, or something really simple, you can search for danthescientist.com.
Yes, danthescientist.com.
Okay. So, thank you for joining us. And
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right.
防災情報です。
When a disaster occurs during the cold winter months, you might not be able to use your home heating and cooking systems due to power and gas outages.
Besides, storing food, water, and other items for a disaster during any time of the year, we need to store additional items for a possible wintertime disaster.
That's right, we need to keep warm and be able to prepare hot meals.
Here's a short list of essential items to store for a possible wintertime disaster.
Okay, outdoor cold weather gear like jumpers, snowsuits, hats, gloves, and so on. Warm winter clothing like thick long sleeve tops, long pants, and socks. Thick blankets or sleeping bags, portable heat packs called Cairo, and a cassette stove with plenty of extra fuel cylinders. And as a recap, here's a short list of items you should prepare for all seasons.
Food and drinking water, prescription medicines for chronic diseases and your regular medications, portable radio with extra batteries, flashlight, hygiene products, toiletries, and so on.
Please take the time in advance to prepare for disasters.
For consultation services and any other inquiries, contact NIA at 0798-328680 or send an email to nia@nishi.or.jp. Our English-speaking staff will be happy to help.
And be aware the NIA offices will be closed between December 29th and January 3rd. 提供は西宮市国際交流協会でした。
Have a great week, everyone,
And a Merry Christmas!
and wishing you all a Happy New Year!